الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. قال الله تعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا. وقال مثل الذين ينفقون في سبيل الله كمثل حبة. وقال ومن يجاهد فإنما يجاهد لنفسه. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praise is due to Allah Azza wa Jalla, Lord of the worlds, and we ask Him to send His greatest peace and blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and upon his family and his companions, and upon all the believers until the day of judgment, Ya Rabbal Alameen. In one of those magic shows, they brought some unsuspecting people, and the magician says to them, I can tell you what's in your mind. Think of anything you like. And one after one, these people come along and he talks to them and talks to them and talks to them. And lo and behold, he managed to predict exactly the thought that was in their mind. And they're all astonished. Wow, how is this amazing? How did you do this? But what was unique about this show is they do the reveal afterwards, showing you exactly what he did in order to get to that prediction. And when they replay the video, what you notice is very slowly and very subtly, throughout his speech, he's using words and references that will indicate the thing that he wants you to say. That you subconsciously are picking up the exact reference that he wants you to refer to without you knowing you're even picking up these signals. It worked so much that they went and did this even to advertisers. They brought the world-leading advertisers, brought them in and asked them to draw something and make up a product and so on. And they drew it, and it turns out it was the exact same thing that he had drawn before. And when they replay their journey to the hall and everything, they show you these little clips of how along the way they were witnessing words, pictures, and various things which implanted this idea in their subconscious. The Quran, as a book, is designed to be read. And it's interesting how Allah Azza wa Jalla chose as the medium in which to communicate to us to be the medium of words and books. And it's not without coincidence that Allah Azza wa Jalla in the Quran has asked us وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا, to recite the Quran regularly with tartil. Because these words, without you knowing, are having an impact on your subconscious. And they have been specifically chosen and structured in a way that they catch your attention and they have an impact on you without you even noticing at times. Now it's easy for us to witness how a magician can do this and the impact it has. But how do we witness it within the Quran and the impact it has? The impact will be subtle and is often lifelong, and you can see it in various different examples, in different ways. But one of the key indicators within the Quran is to investigate some of the words Allah has chosen to use within it. Some of the rhythmic structure you find within the Quran. And you will notice and you will pick up hints and clear signs that this is a very special book in the way in which it's been chosen. The verse I recited to you at the beginning, Allah says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold fast to the God's rope all together and do not split into factions. The use of the metaphor for a rope as an indication of a group for us to hold together has become commonplace. We all know this and we regularly refer to it. But it's a very strange object to refer to a community as. Of all the things you can say to hold tight to Allah's something, you wouldn't think rope, you might think book. You might think Sharia, you might think law. You might think even hold tight to the way of the Prophet ﷺ. But Allah has indicated a specific object. And when you investigate why that object, you see the makeup of a rope is made up of 1,000 fibers. Individually they snap very simply, but when wound together they become strong. That a rope has no beginning and it has no end. But what matters to you in the rope is the place in which you're holding. But if you cut it from the top or you cut it from the bottom, from the top you will fall, and from the bottom you're letting the rest of the people suffer. And you have that responsibility. And that the more people that are involved in this, the stronger this rope gets, not weaker. But everyone has their own role and their own path and their own place. And you begin to notice how Allah is choosing these words specifically. In another verse, Allah famously, the very first of Revelation, Allah says, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. Read in the name of your Lord who created. The very first revelation that Allah gave to humanity. And He places the word iqra, read. People sit with anticipation waiting to hear what a person is going to say. The very first thing the Creator of the heavens and the earth chose to command us to do is to read. Think of the civilizational impact that single revelation and choice of word has had on the history of Islam. The emphasis of knowledge. I was actually surprised. I work in education to learn that there are parents who do not want their children to learn. They don't see it as a priority. We often take it as a given that our parents want our children to be educated, even if they're not educated themselves, because they see the value in it. And you can trace this back to a single word in a book that was the first to be revealed, to teach all of us, often without you even appreciating, that knowledge is important. Allah Azza in countless other examples will liken things to objects. He would liken charity to a seed. It's not the most natural thing for you to turn to give a metaphor. What has money got to do with seeds? But you can bring out so many metaphors from this. A seed itself is useless. If you had a packet of seeds in your pocket, you wouldn't be a very happy person. You might be able to eat them if you're lucky, if they're sunflower seeds. But every single one of you know that the purpose of a seed is to what? Is to plant it. Now if you didn't have knowledge, which we go back to the word iqra, if you didn't have knowledge of what to do with a seed, the whole thing you have in the pocket would be useless. And then when someone tells you that you need to go and bury these seeds in the ground, you'd think that person's stupid. How can an object be of any use if I dig it in the ground? But we know that the function of a seed is to place it in the ground for it to grow and to bring up more stuff. Look at the subtleties in which Allah Azza is using these words in the Quran. There are countless more examples. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Allah Azza says that He decrees that we worship none but Him and be good to your parents. The fathers will wish their children in the Jum'ah today. But look at the way Allah couples being obedient to Allah and being good to your parents. He doesn't say being good to Allah and don't kill people, being good to Allah and don't steal, being good to Allah and pray. He says be good to Allah and be good to your parents. And when you look at when this verse was revealed, this ayah was revealed during Mecca in a time when the teenagers became Muslim and their parents were torturing them for becoming Muslim. There are very few things that you can do that differ between you and your parents than believing in different gods. And there's very few things that are worse that your parent can do to you than to torture you for disbelieving in it. But yet, Allah decided to command and couple your faith in Allah with obedience to parents. These words in the Quran are very specific and very subtle. Inshallah, we'll be beginning an interlude into this week during the study circle. But one of the things I think you should all really take note of is we will be in this study circle over the coming weeks. You'll be honored that there will be a continuous study circle going through different words in the Quran. Why is this word being used compared to this word? And what's the difference? Because there's very few people who teach this. And honestly, you will begin to appreciate how two words will seemingly have the same meaning, but one has been chosen over another in different parts of the Quran. And I've mentioned this before, the word snake is used in different parts of the story of Musa alayhi salam, but different words for the same thing in each part. Once it says hayya, another it says thurban, and in the third it doesn't even mention the word snake. And the significance of that is very important. Inshallah, the Quran, when you begin to investigate it more, you begin to appreciate it more. And that's the thing with our faith. Allah doesn't ask you to shy away from asking questions. He asks you to dive deep, because He knows that this book is from Him. And the more you investigate, the more you will realize there is only one God, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His messenger. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم. السلام عليكم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع مجيب الدعوات. Oh Allah, we ask you to accept us into Jannat al-Firdaus. Oh Allah, we ask you to forgive all of our sins. Oh Allah, we ask you to make the Quran the light of our hearts and the guide of our ways, and allow us to witness the true La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah in every day and every moment until our final day, Ya Rabbil Alameen. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. فالعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثرن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. Inshallah, if you can, inshallah, we have to fit in the second Jama'ah, inshallah, so we can from the back as much as you can.